Good morning, everyone. Wow, this is the first time I'm speaking out loud all day, and I'm hearing how congested I sound. I'm just going to first and foremost say I have a cold. It's not COVID. I've taken many tests. It's not COVID. It's normal. I've gone through different temperatures of different countries. I've been living, and so it makes sense that I'm cold, but I'm fine. Thank you so much for joining. I'm full of energy. I'm full of life, honey. My nose is just not agreeing, but I'm so excited to hop on because honestly, girl, today has been a cosmic day, and I've been seeing so many people talk about how impactful and incredible Saturn going direct is for us, and I kind of just wanted to give my 2 cents on my perspective of it, because I think that it's really going to be super, 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 I don't want to just throw around the word life-changing, darling, but a little bit. And honestly, especially if you have any major fixed placements, or just, if you have any major placements in Aquarius or Capricorn, really, you're going to be feeling this. But in short, Saturn isn't the only planet that's going direct. So we have Saturn, Jupiter, and retrograde, honey, Mercury, which are leaving retrograde within the next 10 days. Oh, hi, thank you for joining, my love. Mercury obviously has been wreaking havoc on all of our lives, and it's going direct finally in a couple days. Saturn has already gone direct, and Jupiter will be going direct, I believe, towards the, on the 18th of October. So I'm going to actually start talking about what this means. If there's any area of your life that you have been experiencing stagnancy or stuckness, super good morning. Yeah, it's really early for you. It's not 7 in the morning, child. If there's any area in your life in which you've been experiencing stagnancy or stuckness, or just feeling like I really want to move forward in some sort of direction and it's not working out for me, honey, bid farewell, because Saturn, we're going to focus on Saturn for this, and Saturn being a planet that rules limitations and karmic energy, and really re-inviting us to look at in what ways are we the practitioners of our own karma. With that being in retrograde for the past 5 months, we have just been in this period of okay, every time I try to push something, it pushes back. Every time I try to move forward, nothing really happens. And it's because we're kind of forced to sit and redefine and reintegrate how we have grown into how we are moving forward. And so now that it's going direct, what all of those words mean, basically, especially with Saturn being a planet that's going direct, however you define being in your bag, however that means to you, whether it's work-wise or whether it's being in my bag means traveling again, or being in my bag means being in an aligned relationship, whatever that looks like for you, know that with Saturn finally going direct, honey, it is time to take those steps. But the gag is that Saturn has been retrograde for the past 5 months, so I don't doubt for a second that you've been experiencing stagnancy, or just oh shit, I feel like I can't control anything right now. Thank you for liking my earrings. That means the world. It feels like things are out of my hands, out of my control. I'm feeling so many mood shifts and swings over the last 5 months. Whatever you have learned within that period of stagnancy about yourself, about life, it is time to put towards how you're going to move forward now that Saturn is moving out of the way. Because the thing is, things are going to start flowing again. But you can easily decide to return back to the old ways of doing things, to, especially, for me, this has really been looking at not only identity, but also work. And I've been approaching work in a way that's really honored, being burnt out. And so now that Saturn is coming back to say, okay, you can be creative again, and you can create and move from a space of productivity. But how are you going to do it in a way that honors what you've learned about yourself? Girl, using myself as an example again, I have realized that success to me is not defined by growth in career, but rather being able to support and live a life where I can be present and I can experience travel and play and just indulgence, and have something that fulfills me to come back to. So I don't need to grow and be in this large commercially successful place, right? As long as I'm defining what success looks like for me, I can move from a space of productivity in that regard. So I hope that makes sense. Essentially, it's time to get back to the grind, to our goals, after spending time reflecting on what a good foundation for them is. So I really hope that you are coming out of this 5-month period of Saturn retrograde with a much clearer understanding of what your why is, and how can you honor that why in a way that is true, in a way that honors what you define success as. So if this is largely going to mean work, because Saturn definitely rules discipline. And so, typically our work lives are how we're supposed to show up in the most disciplined manner. So really look at the ways in which you are working, and how does it honor what you truly define success and joy and productivity as, and how are you going to reapproach it now that things are going to be moving again in a way that honors this truth. So, for example, if before this period of stagnation, you were working overtime, and I know this is really similar to how a lot of people have come out of quarantine feeling as well, as far as like, I don't want to go back to working at an office, or I don't want to go back to doing something just for the sake of financial gain, or feeding it to some bigger corporation that I don't really believe in. Whatever it looks like for you, just know that now we're coming back to a space of movement, and it's really important that you define that movement to honor the truth that you have derived from this period of stagnation. Oh my gosh, me just saying words. But yeah, are you ready to live in your newfound truth? What have you learned? And how can you move forward in a very honest way? So just speak to my soul. I love you so much. And I know you and I were talking about there was a lot of ebbs and flows when it came to my mood and how I was feeling about myself. And so I really have a newfound relationship with how I bring myself back to peace. I think before that was like, just do again, and like, just get back to the gym, or get back to this, and like, that'll be how you feel good again. And I've realized in this period of pause that like actually stopping is kind of the way that happiness comes back to me. So this can be a resolution to the themes in the house of whatever Aquarius rules in your chart. That started on February 14th when Saturn entered its shadow period, and the station retrograde in May. So really look at what have you learned, what has shifted from early February to now, and how can you take the lessons from those issues, the lessons from just having to kind of sit in not having control over certain things outside of you, and how can you pour that into how you're going to move forward now? Because if anything's been feeling like, fuck, I can't move, anything that I try to create somehow tumbles down, that's going to shift now, but it's up to you whether you want to honor what you've learned about yourself and what you've learned about your truth. And Saturn also rules relationships, financial issues, wherever limitations come up in our lives, tensions, and just like karmic problems. So yeah, review and look at what those themes honor in your life. And just above all else, I really, I'm so excited. Like, this is such a potent energy to work with Saturn moving forward, that I would just invite you, honey, to just grab a notebook and sit down and really look at like, okay, what have I learned about my life and who I truly am and what my truth is, and how am I now going to build a life that honors that, especially when it comes to productivity. If I want to get back in my bag, how am I going to get back in my bag in a way that's healthy, and nourishes my truth? Also, I just wanted to say that I have been pulling a lot of cards for like one-on-one clients because they've been asking for it, but I haven't done it for like a collective in a while. So I wanted to see like, what does Saturn direct really want us to know for the collective? And not me pulling 3 major arcanas. This is the Psychic Tarot and Oracle deck, so it has like some tarot cards and some oracles, and I got 3 major arcana tarot cards, which is that probably means nothing to you guys, and it means so much to me. So I just want to quickly say that these 3 cards are fucking insane. This is Fertility, which in the modern tarot, this is Empress. Wisdom, which in the modern tarot, this is Hierophant. And Solitude, which in the modern tarot, this is Hermit. So in essence, what the story is saying, what have you learned in that period of isolation, in that period of solitude, in that period of, you know what, this is out of my control, so I'm going to go ahead and sit back and let the universe do its thing. And how can you take the wisdom and the knowledge from those lessons, the wisdom and knowledge from knowing that, like, who am I when I'm no longer in control of circumstance, and I can actually choose to define how I relate to peace and how I define peace, and how are you going to create and birth a new life from that truth? So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that resonates, because this was very loud for me, honey. This was very loud for me. It really came back to, like, I don't dream of labor. And I'm not going to pretend like I do. But I am someone who was led by fulfillment. And so I will make sure that I am fulfilling what I feel like my divine calling is, but not in a way that is structured to fit what like capitalistic greed and societal definition of productivity says it's supposed to be. And I hope that that is something you can morph into how you've been feeling. Validates everything we've been feeling, and that makes me so happy. So create a new life, create goals, move forward from a space of clarity, from what it is that you've learned about yourself and what Saturn has taught you about yourself, and know that you are the maker of your reality. And yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other major points about this, but just honestly, all in all, get back in that motherfucking bag. But make sure that you're defining what that bag is and how you're going to get into it, okay? Don't be tired. Get rest. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. I love you guys so much, and I hope to see you next time. I shared a journaling prompt to work on and a relationship to these themes on the page. And otherwise, yeah, I hope that you are well. I'm going to go blow my nose. Bye.